Aha!
It's getting that time again. Update video. Favourite time of the year because I've got my hat back on. Here she is. Kind of cut out a little bit, unfortunately. But I'll bring you up to speed about what's been going on. Paint took forever. Painted loads of panels quite a few times because I kept cocking it up. The roof's pink. I'll put a video out to anybody who wants to watch it of me painting that, but it's just me going like that, backwards and forwards. Not very interesting. But I'll bring you back into this bit where I'm starting to put bits back on the car. I've done round the back. I'll show you a quick look at that in a minute. And what I mean by round the back is I've put all the fuel tank back in and plumbed all the fuel pump and filters and put the battery back in, put the boot lid back on, all that kind of stuff. So that's done. And now I'm just coming onto the engine side, and I've hit a couple of snags. Seem to get overspray everywhere, even though I mask everything off quite diligently. But I've hit a bit of a snag because I wanted to pretty the engine bay up a little bit, make it look a bit less agricultural, and you know, I'm not trying to turn it into a show car, but at least I want it to look like I've made a bit of an effort. So there she is. Hoping to get her up and running again quite soon. But let me show you what I've been doing. Just take her off the stand. Here I am. So you've got a few panels still hanging up. Yes, around the back, got the boot lid on. I did a Mark 1 rubber conversion on this boot lid because I hate the body mounted rubbers on the boot lid, and I managed to salvage an old Mark 3 boot lid rubber off an old boot. And we've got the battery and the bits and bobs going on in there. I might put a little video out. You can see how I'm fighting against this. There we go, shuts. I promise you that wouldn't have shut if I'd have put a brand new rubber on there. Not a chance in hell. So yeah, if you can, have a look around scrap yards or shows or wherever. I got mine off this old boot lid here, stripped it off there and reconditioned it. So everything is salvageable. So I wanted to make the cam cover, or rocker cover as people still call it, improve the look of that because it's looking a bit mangy. And in one of my previous painting videos, when I painted the roof, I painted up that other cam cover there. So I took that cam cover off the old engine and painted it up, and then I came to try and get this one off that engine. Now I've struggled with this engine a little bit because I think it's been sat. Let's talk to you. Yeah, I think it was sat on somebody's garage floor before I bought it, and I've noticed that a lot of the fixings were seized in the in either the gearbox or the block or the head. I think it's to do with the fact that the Micra engine is predominantly aluminium and the fixings are steel. And I think there's a bit of corrosion going on, and these fixings tend to almost rust glue themselves into position. So when I came to take the cam cover off this one, I found that the ones round the back here were actually loose. They weren't even tight. And the ones across the front, for some reason, as you can tell by some of the fur around this surface, that's clean around the back, but they seem to fur up across the front, and the screws welded themselves in and refused to budge. And considering that these screws are just sort of posi drive steel, I think there's a bit of black on them, but yeah, you don't get much chance to give it a bit of humph before you destroy that head. And I destroyed some of them. I tried an impact wrench, which was made by Weetabix, and that broke the end off that Phillips head. So this Draper machine mart impact wrench didn't work at all. So what I did was, let me turn you around again. After I destroyed the posi drive in the top of that, I wanted to get the tops off the screws, at least you could pull the cam cover off then. So I drilled with a 5mm drill into the destroyed posi of the screw, and then I whacked in a Torx bit to see if I could undo it using that, but it didn't undo it. It just literally sheared what remained of the head of the screw, which is fine. I could get the cam cover off then, just lift it off what was left of the studs of the screws, which was that screw with no head, and they were poking out the head all the way along here. All these were stuck in the block or in the head. Couldn't get them out. But the good news is I could get onto the remains of the stud, one of these stud extractors, and that with a bit of WD-40 it just rotated out. I did have it here somewhere, don't know what I've done with it. Yeah, it's around. Tried everything. I tried removal tools and everything, but I got it off, and now I'm gonna put the new pink blob thing back on. So I've cleaned up the surface and I've got myself a new gasket. Which is this, they even call it a rocker cover gasket, because this one that came off was as dry, you can hear it, dry and as flaky as anything. And then they've got these couple of half moon bits on there which need some gasket sealant on, because for some bizarre reason, I can't figure out why, down there by the cam sprockets there, the Micra head dips down. Must be to do with having the ability to slide cams in or tighten cams up, I'm presuming. I don't know. I don't know why those depressions are there, but it makes it difficult because you have to make sure that they don't leak there, which I'm presuming is where they leak from. So yeah, got a bit of that to stick on it. So I'm going to put that back on now, get that done. I'm cleaning the engine bay up. I can put the clutch cable back in. I can put the brake master cylinder back in. Inlet, plenum, manifold, throttle body, plumbing back in the heater. There's loads of things to connect back up, all the wiring and everything. But we'll get this back on first. At least then it'll protect this area and make it look a bit pretty. Put a bit of oil back on these lobes, because they were looking a little bit dry, been standing for a while. But yeah, let's get this thing put together and get it running again. Cheers. Right, let's have a bobble about. We're going to have a look at what's coming next on this project. Got some bits laid out. I'll show you what they are. Yeah, that's my new picture in the office, by the way. Did anybody else have these pictures on the wall of their house when they were growing up? That was the crying girl one with the dog. And then there was the Spanish lady, whatever her name was. Bit weird, bit nostalgic, but you know, suits me. Let's show you what we've been digging out to continue this entertaining video. That's where we are. What have I done? I showed you some of the things I've done. I finished putting the cam cover on. I've bolted a couple of clutch pedal adaptions on there. That was the first one I did. That's the one that comes off the Micra bulkhead on the Micra car, but it wasn't deep enough. I've got to keep this cable away from the clutch pedal to get the geometry to work, so I had to make this long stemmed one here. Enables the cable to pull the correct distance to disengage the cable clutch down there. So Yeah, that's what these two funny things are. I've put that one back in there just to cover the big hole I made. I've attached a couple of heater pipes through the bulkhead there. They're reconnected back in. What else have I done? Bolted my birthday present down, these stainless things. Even though I've had to fudge this one here, I've had to cut the nose off because it clatters into the back of my fabricated inlet manifold there. So that was a bit of a ball ache. I've got the brake master cylinder to still fit on. I've still got some electrics to connect up around here and get the clocks back in. Yeah, I've got the grill and stuff to put on. I've probably done a few little other bits and pieces. I've got the lights ready to fit in there and the indicators. Yeah, so that's where we are. Let's have a look at the bits I've accumulated. So I've got the inlet manifold plenum, which is off an MR2 with a badge stuck on off eBay. The finish on this was sort of just silver, but I've painted it with Gravitex to give it that mock kind of matte black crinkle effect. It's worked quite well because it dries a bit. This Gravitex dries a bit crinkly. So yeah, I've got to bolt that back on to the top of the kind of the headers or whatever they're called, and then the throttle body will mount on there, and then the intake air pipe will come off the throttle body. I've got the lights and the assemblies there I've got to fit in. What else have I got? Indicators. I've got that mini Micra conversion thing I did. I've done a video on that, by the way. Well, I've done a video on all this, if anybody can be bothered to look back. I've got some, so that's the wiper motor. What else have I got? I've got some bottom arms in here to adjust the camber on the front. I want to try and make the wheels have a slight camber. So these are 1.5 degree negative camber, which basically means they look the same, but they've drilled the holes slightly further apart to make the wheel stick out a little bit at the bottom. What else have I got? I've got the throttle cable to fit back on. I've got that worm drive of the wiper motors to fit back in. I've made a couple of gaskets out of some thick gasket card paper. That one will fit on the throttle body there, and this other one I had to draw all this up, by the way, stamp it all out, and that one will go on this slightly irregular surfaced inlet plenum there. Yeah, and that's a proper gasket card. What else have I got? Got all the ventilation stuff to deal with. Door handles, little door bin things. I've got glass up there, front and rear screens, door glass, trims. I've got all the gaskets upstairs. I've got the bonnet and the two doors there to fit. I've been trying to accumulate all these ventilation bits as well. Seem to be missing a couple of bits. Got no idea what that pipe is there. That don't seem to fit anything. Don't know what that's off. Got this under wing vent box. I think that runs off one of them, which goes through the bulkhead of the car. So there must be a bit of pipe which connects those two bits together. I must be missing that bit of pipe because that doesn't go into there. I think I'm missing the piece of this as well that goes under the dashboard from the heater to, where is it? Yes, to that bit. Yeah, to that bit somewhere. Yeah, I'm missing a few bits. Because I've got no dashboard yet, I'm not too sure what I'm going to be doing with all these bits either. So I'll make that up as I go along. Yeah. So accumulating bits. I've got, what else have I got down here? Brake master cylinder. Some dodgy old washer pump here. A mirror. Micra gear stick gaiter. Bits of door locks. Hinges, door hinges. Bits of suspension bits. Seat belts. What else is there? I had these turn up the other day, which was odd. Let's open these up and have a look. Number plates. Whoop. Yeah, a bit odd this really. You don't really get them in that colour. That one there is gonna hopefully cover the hole in the grille somewhere there and offer some protection to that alternator. So that's going to go somewhere there. Yeah, so it's not symmetrical. Yeah, it doesn't suit my OCD when number plates are one side of a car, but I ain't got much choice, and that's the back one. Yeah, I haven't gone black and white like I have on the other Mini in there, or black and silver. I've gone the typical 70s colours. Now the weird thing with these number plates is the cost. I think they were on eBay for 20 quid. And it said you had to send in your V5 and proof of identification of where you lived and everything. I thought, well, I ain't sending the logbook to a number plate company on eBay or a utility bill. But then I got an offer through saying we've reduced the price of the pair of number plates to £16. I thought, well, I'll accept and I'll see what happens. They didn't ask me anything. They didn't even ask me the registration. So I emailed him or clicked the contact supplier button and said, by the way, this is the number plate for the Classic Mini. They never asked me for any ID or V5 or anything. They just sent them to me. 16 quid for that. Well, that don't look too bad there. Stamped out bits of aluminium. That one seems alright. That one isn't particularly very flat, but I'm sure I can fudge it on there for 16 quid. So yeah, so that's where we are. I've got 6 tyres to fit, Camax 165 7010s. There is again another video of me reconditioning these mini lights, the 10-inch mini lights. So I've just ordered a couple of Camax, which have gone up in price for some reason. about 20%. But the guy at Longston Tyres had forgot to put the price up on the website. And when I rang him up and said, have you got some of these? He went, well, that price is wrong. And I said, well, that's what you got them advertised for. I'm going to slap the order in before you get a chance to change it. And I did. £63 plus VAT each. He'd got it wrong. He'd forgot to do it. So, bonus. So that's where we are. I think I've showed you everything. I've just got to start bolting all this stuff on. Try and just clear some of this stuff up. It's the good bit, really. It's the exciting bit. So yeah, stay with me. It's October now, 2025. I don't know how this project has taken so long, but we're getting there. We're getting towards the end. I've just got to try and think about what I'm going to be doing next after that, because I've got another bit of space there. Wonder what I could fit in there. Any thoughts? So yeah, roll cage padding. I need to order some of that, because I keep banging my head on the bars. What else have I got to do? Oh, there'll be other things I've got to do. So yeah, stay on the journey, and enjoy me putting all this stuff on. Take it easy.